Arts Plus. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Do you recognize the phrase? It comes from the award-winning musical drama by Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber. Evita is a crowning achievement in the world of musical stage shows. This story about the iconic former First Lady of Argentina is brought to audiences in a way that can only be done by the Asolo Rep Theater in Sarasota.
Just a little touch of Saquality.
This is the beginning of our staging our world plan. We did a 5-year series on the American character, which we're continuing to examine. But I needed a musical to start opening the lens, looking more at the world. Evita is a show I've been interested in for a long time. It's incredibly challenging to do. It requires huge resources, musically and theatrically, to pull it off. It has to be cast incredibly well, and it needs a truly exciting directorial and design team behind it.
I love mythology, and I thought that when I studied this script, I was sort of excited when I read it because I heard the Icarus story in the middle of it. And the Icarus story is the story of a father who tried to help his son by building him wings, but the rules were do not fly too close to the sun. And the child was overly ambitious and kept flying into the sun until he finally burned and fell back to the earth. And Eva Perón also had deep ambition and burned out very young, and she's become this character of mythical proportion.
When Josh Rhodes approached me to design Evita, I didn't really know if he had a specific take on it, if he wanted to do something that was more traditional, kind of redoing what was classically done. However, Josh never wants to do that. So when he approached me and said that he wanted to do this really epic operatic design on stage and have something new and fresh and this blank slate that can come to life with light, and our incredible leading lady, it was kind of this huge open door to explore what he essentially wanted to do, which was highlight Evita as this mythic entity that, always striving for light.
It's my favorite playground, I tell people. I can't believe that I get to come here and play with all these toys. The staff here is incredible. The fact that you can walk down the hallway and dream up a new idea with the properties master, and then go down the hall and check out the painting of your set, and then go and have a meeting with costumes about the fitting or a special effect. And it's just like this vortex of creativity.
I spoke with Josh and I spoke with Michael about sort of the idea of this show, which we all feel is more about ambition than being about really a documentary of Eva Perón. We took a little bit of theatrical license with the costumes. Things are still based in reality, but they aren't necessarily direct copies of things that she wore, with the exception of the big white dress that everybody knows. You really can't mess with that.
As we all started to look at the story and read all about her and look at what the music was doing, created in '76, 40 years later, it turns out the story of a young woman coming from absolute poverty and rising to total stardom in her own country and becoming a worldwide celebrity. She's crystallized something about how we think about politics and celebrity.
We're using a 12-piece orchestra, which is the biggest orchestra we've had here at the Oslo. We have a string trio, violin, viola, cello. We have a rhythm section, 2 keyboards, drum set, which we're actually using an electronic drum set, which is going to be really cool, as well as bass and guitar. And then we have a horn section with a reed player, a woodwind player who's playing like 8 different instruments, trumpet, trombone, and French horn. So we have representatives from every group, and with a show like this where the score is so varied, I really wanted to have those strings for those lush orchestral moments, but you also need a rock band. So it's cool to bring it all together, and I'm excited to hear how it's all going to sound.
I always say you can't do Evita without talent. It is a rock pop opera, and you have to have actors, you have to have incredible singers, and you have to have beautiful, beautiful dancers. And they all have to have these shining, glamorous souls. Michael Edwards and I, in New York, we went on a big search for talent, and boy, we found it. We fell in love with this woman who we had never met. She came in, and she looked amazing, she sounded amazing, and the most amazing thing about her audition is that she wanted it, and she wanted it badly. And she had this Eva Perón laser focus. And boy, when we found her, everybody looked at each other and thought, that's it, right?
It was a great opportunity for me to finally have this lead role that I've always wanted. I find the story of Evita very fascinating.
Shoot me off with your blood, wipe me off with your nights. Watch me coming. All I want is a whole lot of excess. Tell the singer this is where I'll play.
So for me, it was like a challenge because the music is very hard. But I was like, I can do this, and this is right for me, so I need to give my all. And with that in my mind, I went to the audition, and right in the moment when I looked at Josh Rhodes' eyes, we connected. It was like magic.
She proved that we are very right, and that she is indeed incredible, and she is born to play Eva Perón.
We saw about 2,000 people. And we have put together a cast that is predominantly, probably 90% Latino. And certainly the five principals, the Eva Perón is from Puerto Rico. And the Juan Perón, the Che, the Magaldi, and the Mistress are all Latinos. And so this represents a very different way of thinking about the kind of identity of the piece.
I think this show and this production that we're doing is the equivalent of what anyone can see in Broadway. It's wonderful. What we're doing here is unbelievable. I'm really impressed and grateful to be part of it.
Cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my bad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance.
For more information, visit asolorep.org.